everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and welcome. We are continuing our quick preview of the NFL as we're talking about the Washington Commanders to see it was last year a sign of things to come, or was it a fluke? A fluke, and Daniels is going to be smacked back down to earth. I don't know, but I'm going to say that it won't look as easy as last year kind of made it look like he did. But I'm going to say that Washington, now that, especially if they got Terry McLaurin back, which that was a big thing, I think Washington is going to be very similar to what they were last year, just more confidently, if I can say it like that. I think it's kind of hard to prove. It's hard for a team, especially with a young quarterback, to be so successful in the first year that next year is going to be better, when even MVP candidates have a hard time matching the same numbers as before. I think Daniels is definitely the direction for the Commanders, and with Terry signing on, I think Washington will be a more confident team week in and week out than last year of being surprised and ooh and ahhing. So to me, I'm going to say Washington seems to be more confident going forward. The three games I think we all need to pay attention to, starting with Week 10 versus Detroit. It is time for the NFC conversation. If Washington wants to compete, not only do they have to play against Philadelphia, which by the way, we'll talk about Philadelphia in a few seconds, they need to take on Detroit, because there could be a chance where a tiebreaker could come into play and Washington could be competing for the number 2 seed and missing out on the first round bye. So Week 10, basically the mid part of the season, maybe not the most solidified, but the midway part of the season is kind of good litmus test to see, can you guys compete with the big boys? You beat them before, and you don't think Detroit's kind of pissed off by that? Playoff revenge is very crucial in the NFL. So to me, Week 10 proved that last year wasn't a fluke and kind of cement yourself as we are becoming the new boys of the NFC. Week 16 and Week 18, because I just said it with Philadelphia, so why don't we take it and reverse it? Philadelphia, Week 16, you're hosting the Eagles, and then Week 18, you're at Philadelphia, which could be the impact to Philadelphia's favor, especially if you take on Philadelphia and you beat them in Week 16. Payback's a B, and you're going to determine a playoff positioning. Or, in best case scenario, division. And if Washington wants to prove that they want to host a playoff game, which, according to your stadium situation, I don't know if you want to be so proud about that, but let's just be positive in this video here. You got to beat Philadelphia, and more than likely Philadelphia twice. But we have seen many times before where teams lost to a division foe twice and it impacted the playoff, but teams still went on to win the Super Bowl that year. So I'm not going to say it's a backbreaker if you guys can't sweep the Eagles, but it's going to happen during the last 3 weeks of the season when probably most of the players are going to be worn down, tired, and God forbid, injured and gone already by then. So to me, Washington is going to be pushed all the way from Week 1 to Week 18, and the last 3 weeks of the season is going to be pushed to see, basically, can they compete based on longevity? Can they compete with endurance? Can they still be the face and the threat that everyone thought of the NFC? Or are they going to be kind of like the Texans were with C.J. Stroud's second year and kind of be like, yeah, they're there. Not as scary as you thought they were, but they're there. The highs and lows for the Washington Commanders, I see a 13-win season, easy. The big thing with those four losses, there's a part of me where I can see a letdown game here and there. There's even a good possibility that they could be swept by Philadelphia in those 4. I do not think Washington, as great as they were last year, is a lock for a great season. There could be a game where it comes down to a last-second play. I mean, look at the game they were last year, like the game against Cincinnati. What happens if they get stopped a few times in that game and see the direction changes? Also, Washington is no longer the surprise team. People are aware of Jaden Daniels' athleticism and how good he was, and they know he'll probably be better trained and more confident moving forward. Teams are not going to look at that and be like, he's a rookie, and kind of brush it off. They're going to take him seriously. And the low point, very much said about Philadelphia, I have a hard time seeing Washington being a team that goes less than 10 wins. 11 might be the highest of lows, because I don't see this Washington team. If they somehow go less than 10 games, something definitely happened. Either they cracked the code on Daniels, or injuries plagued the season. And sometimes happen in many professional sports. Teams got better. and they took their offseason seriously, from draft picks to training to free agency. But even then, I still believe this still leads through Jaden Daniels, and that's why my MVP candidate for the Commanders is Daniels himself. He was the face of the Washington Commanders last year, and here he's no longer if. He is the guy. He is the face of the Commanders, and everything runs through him. And when he got his new favorite toy and Terry got paid the money that he rightfully deserves, of course Washington is going to be looking forward to go beyond, even though they went so far that another clever segue, the verdict for the Commanders. How can I say you guys were not better than you were last year? You guys were literally a one game away from the Super Bowl, and Philadelphia blew you out to basically snap you back to reality. Oh, and there goes gravity. So I say, beyond that, I think Washington should be looking as potentially going to a Super Bowl. And how great it would be to see Washington in a Super Bowl again. Haven't seen that since when they did it. And they beat Buffalo. How fun to be Buffalo and Washington again. That would be fun. That would be great. But to me, you guys, they were so close last year, it's kind of hard to say you guys would be lesser than that. So I have to at least say Super Bowl. So to me, that's where I see Washington moving forward. And that is the Commanders. We'll conclude the NFC East by talking about the G-Men, who I think they have more upside based on this preseason, but not giant expectations. So until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.